then you will come nearby him. He will go nearby you. Now discussing this process of Manjari Bhav Sadhana Raganuga Sadhana, that is Dhyan. Dhyan is an advanced stage of Smaran. Therefore, in Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, Smaran is the principal limb, or the most prominent limb of all angas of Bhakti. In Vairi Sadhana, in general, in Kali Yuga, everything is subordinate to the anga of Kirtan. Kirtan is the prominent limb. But in Raganuga Sadhana, Kirtan is the gateway and assists in one's Smaran. One begins to form Kirtan, but then Smaran takes over, and that Smaran becomes permanent. Therefore, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur said, Kirtana Prabhavate, Smarana hoive se khale bhajana nirjana sambhav. That Kirtana Prabhavate, Smarana hoive. By the influence of Kirtan, then Smaran will take place. Without Kirtan, Smaran, how it will take place? In other words, you'll have to listen to Harikatha, and then you'll have to repeat that Katha yourself. You have to chant the holy names. And by chanting the holy names and repeating that Katha you heard, you become deeply absorbed in thoughts of Smaran. In Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, Smaran becomes prominent limb of Bhakti. This has been described by our Goswamis. And for us, of course, it is Srila Guru Bhagavatam has explained all these things. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami says, one should contemplate Achyuta, meditate on his transcendental form, and by mind serve him. Then the Smaran and Dhyan will become different. By always contemplating like this, your material body will no longer be a burden or a heavy structure holding down the soul. Kita pesas kritam dhyayan kudyam tena praveshita yati tad satmatam rajan purvarupam asantyajan. Avadu Dattatreya told Maharaj Janu, son of King Yayaki, O king, once the strong Bringi or Peshaskrit wasp forcefully arrested the weak Jala Chakta insect and confined it in its cave. When the weak insect heard the strange sound made by the Bringi, it became afraid. Contemplating the form of the Bringi, out of fear, it assumed a bodily form exactly like that of the Bringi. Thus one achieves a state of existence according to one's constant concentration. That which you absorb yourself in, even your external form will begin to change. You'll notice that people in this world, when they get married, for instance, after some time, the husband and the wife, their faces will begin to look very alike. The husband always absorbed in the wife, and the wife always absorbed in the husband. And their faces, they're similar, their facial features will become very similar. If you look at anyone who is absorbed in something like butchers, always cutting meat and cow and killing pig, then their faces also, they begin to look like, their consciousness already prepares their body for their next birth. Then their faces, they begin to look like pigs, hogs. Yes, very meaty, and they're going to look like pigs, even when they're alive. Their body begins to change because of their consciousness, they're absorbed in that. Just like here in this verse saying the wasp confines the caterpillar. The caterpillar is so afraid, is absorbed in the wasp. Oh, the wasp is going to eat me, the wasp is going to kill me. He's afraid, and he turns into a wasp. The mind is very, very powerful. Extremely powerful. Because anything you apply your mind to, the fruit will be successful. Therefore, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami says, chanting superior to chanting loudly is whispering, 100 times more superior. And then 1,000 times more superior to loud chanting is in your mind. Prahlad Maharaj says the opposite. Prahlad Maharaj says 100 times beneficial to chant the name loudly. Why? Because all the living insects, the trees, the plants, that have no chance to chant the holy name otherwise, they get liberated by hearing. But here, Sanatana Goswami is specifically referring to the process of Raganuga Bhakti. In Raganuga Bhakti, the chanting of suffering to yourself is 100 times superior to loudly. If you're chanting very loud, then how do you absorb yourself in Smaran? It will be hard to, you It's hard to contemplate, get it, concentrate your mind. You're essentially more external. You're hearing the sound. And it's good in the beginning, it's very good for the sadhak, you won't fall asleep. One should start with loud chanting, very beneficial. But slowly, as Samanda Jnana awakens, as once Samanda becomes very strong, and anarthas are going, offenses are gone, then that time one is not plagued by the general anarthas that ordinary sadhaks are, like sleep and distractions. Then at that time, if he chants whispers to himself, then it will be very beneficial, 100 times more beneficial than he can whisper. He listen to the holy name and he can easily absorb his mind. And then when he becomes very advanced, then he can just completely in his mind, he can absorb himself. At that time, the mind is so powerful, anything he thinks of that time, it will happen. Manisi seva. If you do any service in your mind and externally, it will manifest. Like Prabhu always says, how Swami Maharaj Prabhupada always was contemplating before he went to the West, how he will preach in the West. Then when he went, it all manifests very easily. So the mind has that facility. Contemplate. Therefore, there's even ordinary materialists that have some theories like that. What is it? They say that it says the power of the mind, the power of thought. You just think of something they also have some theories, And also for like many successful businessmen and stuff, they all have these things. They talk about you first thinking about things and writing it down. They have all many things how to be successful. The mind is always very important. If you don't apply your mind to anything, you cannot be successful. Especially in bhakti, you have to apply one's mind. And if you don't apply your mind, then the mind will wander here and there. And so chanting is in a very soft manner, and mind is very beneficial in that. It's in the later stages of bhakti. Yes, gave this example from 11th canto of Bhagavatam. From the weak insect who assumed the form as the bringi was, the Avaduta learned that the jiva, under the influence of attachment, hatred and fear, attains in his next life the identity of that object upon which he fixes his mind and intelligence. Therefore the Gita is that what you meditate on, you attain that in your next birth. We can see the example of Maharajji. He thought of a fawn, a baby deer, at the time of his death. Therefore he accepted the body of a deer in his next life. Bharat did sadhana, thinking of a deer. Thus he attained the body of a deer in his next life. His body changed, but his soul did not change. It cannot change, for it is eternal. The soul cannot change. The body changes. By doing karma, the body changes. In his next life, he was born as a Brahmana. That means after his dear body, by the mercy of the Lord, he remembered all his previous life. That he was eating the remnants of the rishis, only dry leaves in the bastard, and when he gave up his dear body, he became the birth of the Brahmana again. In the example of the bringi, the caterpillar and the wasp, it catches the weak worm, captures it inside its cage, and day and night it makes sound outside. After some time, the worm's body also changes. This is Swarupya, meaning that the outside body changes, but the soul cannot change. It is eternal, and it is Swarup Shakti's manifestation through the Tasta Shakti. The Jivatma is what? Jiva Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nityadas, Krishna Tadasta Shakti, Veda Veda Prakash. It's a difference. It's a different and non-different manifestation of the Lord, manifestation of the Tadasta Shakti. Jeev Shakti. The Jeev Shakti, Tadasta Shakti, these are all synonymous. We have Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tadasta Shakti. Internal potency, that means what? The Swarup Shakti, Chit Shakti, that is Parashakti, that is the internal potency. Then we have the Jeev Shakti, which is Jeev Shakti or the Tadasta Shakti. Javidan also described it as the Aisha Shakti. Then you have the Bahiranga Shakti or the Maya Shakti or the Jat Shakti. This is Maya, this material world. So jivas are manifestations of coming from that Tatastha Shakti. For Narad Pancharakta it said that Yat Tatastantu Chid Rupam Samvedatu Nivirgatam Ranjidam Gunaragina Sa Jiva Iti Katyate. Definition of a jiva is that it is Yat Tatastantu Chid Rupam. It has a spiritual form, but it is nature, but by nature it is Tatastha. Samvedatu Nivirgatam, and it is manifestation from the Lord's spiritual potency. In other words, the Tatastha Shakti is not mundane, it is spiritual. It is the Lord's own property. But Ranjitam Gunaragina, the jiva has a mood of enjoyer and he is influenced by the three modes of material nature. That is a definition of a jiva. Therefore, we cannot define our Guru Varga or the Parikas of the Lords as jivas in any way, because they are not influenced by the three modes of material nature and they have no enjoying tendency. And they are not Tatastha by nature. They're fully under the shelter of the Swarup Shakti. They don't have our nature. Sometimes we're inclined to bhakti, sometimes we're not. That is means we're Tatastha. Our mind is our consciousness on the border, in the material and the spiritual world. Sometimes we're inclined to serve the Lord, sometimes we're not. Fluctuating. Like if you have fluctuation in the current supply, electricity supply, it should become steady current, or of course a technical term is called AC and DC. What you get from all the plugs is AC. Electricity. So it has a steady flow like this. It goes in a curve, up and down, And DC is like battery power. It's straight one line of current. So, but if you have a fluctuation in that, either one, then it will create some disturbance. Spikes up, it will make up too much up, down, it might go too much down, it might go high, the current might drop down. Then it will create so many problems. So this is like the jiva. Sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes here, there. He cannot focus on his bhakti. He cannot apply his mind 100%. Even in the later stages, there's still some traces of anartha there. It creates some obstacles to him. These are like very slight fluctuations in his consciousness. But ultimately, only when he gives up his material body and enters into the path of the Lord, and then retains the association of the Nitya-Siddha Brajavasis, ultimately he enters, and this way he goes through the different paths of the Lord in Goma Vrindavan, and then ultimately he attains the ultimate perfection. For that, there is always going to be that Tatastha's nature will always be evident in some way or another. Like in Bharat Maharaj, he is Mahabhakta. Then how did he remember the deer? Because Tatastha. That is the meaning of Tatastha. Sometimes Jiva is looking towards the Lord, sometimes he's forgetting the Lord. So Tatastha is not a region. You understand that Tatastha is not a place, a physical place, a location. The Jiva has fallen from. The Jiva's consciousness is always situated in Tatastha. And he's always, sometimes he's unmukh to the Lord, inclined to the Lord, and sometimes bahirmukhi, sometimes averse to the Lord. The Mahavishnu, he's residing in the Virajnani, the borderline between the two material worlds. And he injects the Jiva into the world through his glands. So, that time, you can say, okay, it's a physical place, but in reality, the Jiva by nature is eternally, he's created to be Tatastha. Regardless of where he is, he has that nature. Only when he enters into the Lord's eternal path in the spiritual world, then that nature becomes completely one with the Lord's nature, the nature of the spiritual residence there. Then his Tatastha nature becomes completely, like, it goes away. But by constitution, the Jiva is created with that Tatastha nature. So here, saying that the Jiva is eternal, and it is Swarup Shakti's manifestation through Tatastha Shakti. His eternal Swarup is always fixed. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Rishi instructs King Prachina Varisha about the history of King Puranjan. In the Puranjan Upakhyan, in his next life, Puranjan attains the body of a woman because of his attachment to his wife in his previous life. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yang yang bhapi smaram bhavam tyajan antya kalevaram tam tam evaidi kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of mind one is when quitting the body, in the next life one will attain that state, undoubtedly. This new body is a result of karma, and the soul is not touched by this change. The eternal Sarup never changes. At the time of Sarup Siddhi, one attains its eternal form, service and mood, and everything then received is permanent, everlasting, and will never change. All examples heard before this, like the Bringi, Bharat Maharaj, King Puranjan, and the Gita Slok, refer to the material body, and not to the eternal soul. In other words, the body is changing. The Atma is always fixed. The Atma oil by constitution is Jiva Swarup oil, Snare Nityadas, eternal servant of Krishna. One always contemplates Satchidananda Krishna, and he can come to him. One should only remember Krishna's Nam, Rup, Guna, Lila. Sanatana Goswami writes in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sankirtana Dhyana Sukam Vivardate, Dhyana Cha Sankirtana Madhuri Sukam, Ananya Samvardana Katha Anubhuyate, Smavistayos Tatvayam Ekam Evatat. Sankirtan increases the bliss of meditation, and by meditation the sweet bliss of Sankirtan grows. Our own experience is that the two practices strengthen each other, and are therefore actually inseparable. Therefore, Sri Narottam Thakur says, Radha Krishna Nam Gana Aisha Paramadhyana Agna Karyo Parama. The chanting of the holy names of Sri Radha Krishna is supreme meditation. Do not accept any other process as the goal. Therefore, Nam is Sanak, Nam is Sadhya, the goal. It is the process and the actual goal itself. Because Nam and Namino. Abhinattam, Nam and Namino, Nam and the possession of the name is not different. Jiva Goswami describes how Shyam is a feast for the eyes. He has written that Shyam is dancing with a beautiful form. His sweetness is all attractive. I always meditate on him in my heart, inviting his sweetness to come. The Narad Pancharatra describes the extreme attractiveness to the mind. Nirdosh guna vigraha atma tantra nishechanatmaka sharira gunaishchahina anandamatta karapada mukodarihi sarvatta chasvagata svagata bhera vanchidatma. This is in Narad Pancharatra. Shri Krishna's transcendental form is Satchidananda, free from any tinge of material qualities. He is not under the influence of material time or space. Adversely, he exists fully everywhere at all times simultaneously, without there being any duality in his form of being. For he is Advaya Gyan Paratattva, the non-dual absolute truth. The three types of duality, Swagat Ved, Svajatiya Ved, and Vijatiya Ved, do not exist in him. This is it. Gurudev will always discuss this, when describing Advaya Gyan Paratattva. Said, what is meaning of Advaya? Advaya means there's nothing that is separate from the Lord. There's no existence that you can say that is separate from the Lord and His creation. Therefore, He is Advaya, He is one. He cannot be divided. Advaya. Undivided. One whole, absolute truth. Advaya Gyan Paratattva. So Advaya Gyan Paratattva means the supreme absolute truth. Not the non-dual supreme absolute truth. So how is it non-dual? Some people question this. How can you say the Lord is non-dual? You say there is three kinds of differences, duality, Swagat, Svajatiya and Vijatiya. Swagat Ved, Svajatiya Ved and Vijatiya Ved. Three kinds of dualities we find that can exist in the Lord. Swagat means in His own form there is duality. Krishna's nose and His fingers, they're not the same shape. They have different functions. Duality is there even in His own form. How can you say that He is a non-dual absolute truth? And Svajati means the difference between Krishna and His own expansion, His own near and dear ones. The jivas and the spiritual world, all His creation. Krishna is different from his servants and the planets he has created, all that, how he one with them. Clear duality there also. And Vijayati, even there's clear duality between Krishna and all the jivas in this world, the material world, all these things also. He's an expansion of his expansions. So there's so many dualities we see. But then in order to refute this, Jiva Goswami and Al Goswami have refuted all these things. In Swagat we see that in Brahma Sangha it is described, Angani yasya kalempire vritti manti pashyanti kanti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya ujjvala vigrahasya govinda mari purusham tamam. You see, Iskal is singing every morning this song, Darshanalati. Krishna, he can perform any function of his senses through any part of his body. With his eyes, he can eat. That's why we see when Sakshi Gopal, when this Gopal was brought from Vijayanagar, big story in Chaitanya Charitamrita is described in the whole thing actually. Anyway, the king, what is it? He comes, that is Purushottam Jana. He captures, in Vijayanagar he defeats the king in South India and he brings his Ganesh and he brings his Gopal and all these many things here, Singhasan, many things he brings from there. The Gopal is stored outside the Jagannath. After some time the Jagannath came into the dream of the king and said, what have you done? Who is this Gopal you brought here? Very nonsense, very naughty. All my bhoga is coming but he is eating everything before it even reaches me. Now I am very hungry, I have not eaten in days. Get rid of this Gopal. Why? Because Gopal is there, they'll be carrying in their heads all these pots of bhoga and stuff. Before it will reach Jagannath, then Gopal with his eyes will be eating it all. And the pots will be empty before they reach Jagannath. Why? Because the Lord can perform any function through any of his senses. Immediately then, the Purushottam Jan, he moved Gopal outside of Puri. Therefore, now it's a place called Sakshi Gopal. It's called Sakshi, his witness. Because the story is a very long story, but there are two Brahmanas. He bore witness to one of the Brahmanas. He offered his daughter in hand in marriage to the younger Brahmana. Basically, what happened is that one older Brahmana, one younger Brahmana. The younger Brahmana would always serve the old Brahmana very nicely, serving him in so many ways. Bringing water for him, massaging, cleaning his clothes, cooking for him, taking care of him when he's sick. Ideal seva. The old Brahmana was so melted. He said, once they were on travel, they were in Vrindavan. That time, these Brahmanas were from South India actually. So, the Brahmana told them, I'm so pleased with you, I'm so happy with you. I want to offer you some remuneration, I want to give you something. Therefore, he said, it would be great honor for me if you would accept my daughter's hand in marriage. I don't want to be separate from you in any way. Also, I don't want to be separate from my daughter, so if you could accept her hand in marriage, this would be a perfect solution situation for me. And this way I want to offer you this. You just come here down. So then, the young Brahmana, he was saying, I'm not doing any of this for any remuneration. But the old Brahmana said, but I insist, I want to. Then he said, okay, if you really insist, but then he said, I want you to promise to me in front of Gopal. This will make it final. Once we commit, then I don't want to have any change. So of course, he promised in front of Gopal that I'm offering my daughter in hand of marriage to this young Brahmana. So they went traveling away and they came back to Vijayanagar in South India. That time, some time passed, and the old Brahmana, he had mentioned this proposal to his relative. The relative was like, how you can give your daughter to this young Brahmana, this poor Brahmana? He has no job, he has no finance, he has no income, he has no land, he has nothing. Poor beggar, street beggar. You can offer your daughter to a street beggar? Never. All his brothers were very against. So the old Brahmana, he just remained silent. Let time pass. Think, oh, maybe the young Brahmana, he'll forget. Maybe he's not interested, he's not going to push the issue. and everything will just let everything dissolve naturally. Just forget about it. But the young Brahmana, he did not forget. So one day he came to the old Brahmana and he said, "Oh, remember you promised your daughter in marriage? Have you made any arrangement for that? Now this time is coming in my life that I need to get married. I've been thinking about that proposal, and since we agreed, I would like to marry your daughter." The old Brahmana, he said, "Oh, I don't remember saying anything like that." He became like, he says, "No, my daughter cannot get married to you. My daughter's marriage preparation we are going to arrange. There are so many other people here that we are looking for. It's not for you, no. This is some misunderstanding. Maybe I said something one time, I hinted something, but I never promised you." And the young Brahmana, he said, "No, you promised to me. I have a witness. You promised in front of Gopal, in front of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is my witness." Then, like a little argument came in, and they all went, "No, I cannot do it." And they said, "I'll bring Gopal here, then he'll witness, then you'll agree." And then the old Brahmana said, "Yeah, if Gopal comes here, then I'll agree to the marriage, no problem." So then, the young Brahmana, he walked all the way back from South India. Walking from north to south India will take you 2-3 months at least, if not more. So here in Vijayanagar is in Andhra Pradesh. So it will take around at least maybe even 3-4 months of walking. He came all the way back to here to Vrindavan. He came in front of Gopal. He was praying and crying, "Oh Gopal, please be merciful. I need your help. You have witnessed. You have bore witness to this Brahmana's promise to give his daughter in hand of marriage to me. And now this Brahmana has gone back on his word, and I need you to come and bear witness. I need you to stand in front of court and give your witness, your testimony." That because he was crying with me so much, such a simple-hearted Brahmana, that Thakurji spoke to him. That yes, I bore witness, but how can I go to South India? You'll carry me, you'll take me. My palanquin, you'll arrange some vehicle to me, how will I go there? I cannot walk there. And the young man said, "But that if you can talk, then why you cannot walk?" Then Thakurji was smiling and said, "Okay, but on one condition, I'll follow you. But you know that I'm following you. I'll follow you, but you never turn around. You look at me." He said, "How will I know that you are behind me?" He said, "You'll hear my footsteps. But if you don't hear my footsteps, that means, but don't turn around still. You just wait. And this way, you will progress, and then when you will see the footsteps will stop, then he will also stop. And then he will keep going. So he never turned around. And finally, when he reached South India, then there he saw Gopal was standing there with him. Then in front of everyone, then Gopal, the deity itself, he spoke. "Oh, this old Brahmana has offered his promised his hand in marriage to this young Brahmana. I am a witness." And then he became, therefore from that day he became known as Sakshi Gopal. Sakshi means witness, one who bears witness. And Gopal bore witness to this Brahmana. This whole Katha is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita actually. Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, he memorized this whole Katha. He could speak the whole Katha from his memory, every single verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But he has astonishing Katha. Shows you actually how the Vigraha is not different from the Lord himself. There's so many pramans for this actually, about the Vigraha. You can see Madan Mohan also in Karoli. He wanted to offer his daughter in marriage to some prince, but she said, "No, I only want to marry Thakurji." And then I have love for Thakurji only. Then the king said, "I only choose him." They said, "No, how you can marry deity? How can you marry this Madan Mohan? It's not possible." He said, "No, I have eternal connection with him. I cannot be married to anyone else." He said, "Listen, you make a Swayamvar. You bring all the people you want, whom you want to marry. You blindfold me. And whoever I pick with my blindfold, I'll marry that person. But you place the deity also amongst like that." Madan Mohan. So they went, so many over there. The girl spontaneously is moving around. Not allowed to touch. Only need to walk. She needs to just walk. Choose. She was thinking how. She was praying, oh Madam Mohan, how will I recognize you? How will I choose you? Where are you? When she came near Madam Mohan, and Madam Mohan grabbed her arms. That's right. Like this. Then she immediately embraced Madam Mohan. This is my mother. I'm marrying this woman. Then that was the deity. Then he was married to the deity Madam Mohan. Then the marriage was arranged. And then the deity was played. She went into the deity room. The deity that night, the first night they got married. In the morning when they opened the doors, they saw that the princess was no more there, but the deity, Madam Mohan was there, and there was one young Ishwari deity was there also now. She became deity next to Madam Mohan. And even today that deity is still there in Giridhari. Many kathas, so many kathas of Jagannath. But how there was this young Muslim boy named Salve. They won't let him into the temple because he's Muslim. But he crying, weeping, and he offering coconut. He wanted to offer some coconut water to Jagannath. Jagannath's hands coming outside and taking the coconut. Even now you go to Odisha, this famous Salve. If all the Muslims, they worship Jagannath in Odisha also. Many kathas like that. Jagannath, Devadasi is singing, Jagannath running outside, coming in dream. Katha Gopinath speaking, sitting down for Many kathas are there, how the deities are performing astonishing pastimes. Unlimited pastime there. Katha Gopinath speaking, coming in dream to Vamana Goswami Maharaj. Even Radha Vinod Bihari in Mathura. He was there one time, he woke up all the middle of the night, he woke up, he called the Pujari. The Pujari's name was Balaram. Called him. It's like 12:30, 1 in the morning. Did you offer burnt rice today? And he put his head down, yes. Why? Because the rice got burnt. So what to do? Then I offered. There's no other rice. Thakurji came to me in a dream. He told me they are feeding me burnt rice. Here. And mainly now cook fresh rice. They cook fresh rice up to everything in the middle of the night. Offer Thakurji, then they put it in this way. I told you this Katha about Brahmachari Goswami Maharaj. He stole this Shalagram Shila. They came to offer him Bhoga. I said, no, Thakurji is not eaten, don't give me now. Offer Bhoga first. We already offered everything to close the curtain, Thakurji is sleeping. No, offer Thakurji is not eaten. Then one Brahmachari came out, oh, I stole this Shalagram. Look. Brahmachari slapped him. Hey, you steal this? Nonsense. Offered Bhoga, then they did all the offerings, the Bhoga, everything, then he went to sleep. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he went to Gandaki river, then this Shalagram Shila entered into his 43 times, 12 fingers, big size Shalagram Shila, like this. Some people they say 12 Shalagrams, Vaishnava said it was actually one Shalagram was 12 fingers long. 3 times they came into his pot, and he realized this is a desire for this Shalagram to come with me. He worshipped that, and on the Nishinga Chaturdasi, the day before Nishinga Chaturdasi, he was praying, weeping in separation from Mahaprabhu, remembering how Mahaprabhu promised him he would come to him. And in the morning when he woke up, that Shalagram Shila turned into Radharama. Then he has astonishing pastime. Govinda Dev was under the earth. Every day the cow would go milk, pour milk on the deity. Sarvapta Goswami found Gopal and Govardhan. Came to Devi Madhavendra put his arm here, according to his wife, Swati, everything, come help me. Came, and then they dig, they found the deity, they did not look good. Then when he went to Ramuna, then Kirchor Gopinath stole the pot of Kir for Madhavendra Puri. So many pastimes are there showing you how the Vigraha is not different from the Lord. Unlimited pastimes. I'm just remembering one or two. Even by Ganesh Maharaj, he showed me a picture of Radha Govinda in New York. He showed me 2 different pictures. He said that in the beginning when they came, they were very skinny. But they began every day offering Lagdus. Lagdu is a preparation, not a laddu, it's called laddu. The G. L-A-G-D, laddu. You put lots of dry fruits and honey. And then you fry besan into balls like bundi and then make it into big laddu. So it's rich with nuts and dry fruits and honey. And they said they'll offer big ones like this big size. Like small balls. And whoever was the number one book distributor, then that day they'll get the laddu as a prize. Offering these laddus, the deities, their faces have been so chubby. Like this. Showed me another picture. You see the cheeks of the deity there. The faces are big round. Look at the two pictures, they look different like different deities. Astonishing things. Many kathas like that you can see regarding deity. Many pastimes. All the Goswamis, the deities. Madan Mohan is Sanatana Goswami. You know this katha how he's playing with the Chobi Brahmana, the two boys eating khichdi. Sanatana Goswami is seeing this. Why are you offering? Why are you cooking khichdi with your spoon and your toothbrush? One side she's brushing her teeth, one side she's stirring the pot. And why you should take bath and do everything, then she would do that and become late, and the boys were complaining, hey, we're very hungry, very hungry. Our stomachs are hurting. Then Madan Mohan again complains, hey, Baba, why are you interfering here? Why are you coming here and disturbing? What you told my mother? Then Sanatana Goswami go to the next day. Oh, do as you were doing before. Then that Madan Mohan, he would be playing with the boy. Then when he would lose, he was supposed to carry the boy on his shoulders. Then the boy would say, now carry me. He said, no. Then he would run away, and the boy would say, hey, cheater. He would run into the deity room and he would become deity again. And then the pujari would be like, hey, what are you? The other boy, Sadhan, was coming to the temple room, and the pujari would be like, hey, go from here. And then Madan Mohan would be on the deity and he would be like, showing faces, see, you cannot come in here, this is my place. Then the other boy said, I'll show you, come out, next time you come out, I'll teach you a good lesson. You're cheating me. So Sanatana Goswami is seeing all these things. Then later Madan Mohan told Sanatana Goswami, I want to go with you, Baba. So, okay, come. But I cannot feed you, I cannot do anything. He said, no need to feed me anything, I'll arrange for myself. And he put 3 stones, like this, on the bank of the Yamuna, where the Madan Mohan temple is now. And they kept the deity under them and worship every day, bring some flowers, sometimes offer anything, some fruit or root. Or so. Most of the time they're taking atta from Madhukari, mixing with Yamuna water, putting in the fire, and become like a bhakti, like a baked dough ball. Offering these baked dough balls to Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan sometimes like, no salt, nothing. Can you really give me a little salt? Then he said, no, I'm not going to give you nothing. You promised. I'm going from here. You arrange your own thing. Today you're asking for salt, tomorrow you'll be asking for sabji, then the third day you'll be asking me for sweet rice and rasgullas. I cannot arrange anything. You arrange for yourself. And he arranged for a big salt, a boat of merchant, he was bringing salt. And the whole boat was stranded right there in the Yamuna outside the Madan Mohan temple. And then Sanatana Goswami helped the barge get free from the sandbank. And the merchant gave him some salt. Said, I'm going to sell this, and the prophets will come and I'll help you build your temple. So in one strike, he arranged for salt, Sanatana Goswami, and then he also arranged, then the prophets came and they built one temple. So many kathas like that regarding the deities, pastime to the Lord. Showing you that the Vigraha is Nitya, it is a Janu. Transcendental Swarup of the Lord. So there's no Swagat there. No difference in the form from the Lord's own form. There's Svajatiya where there's no difference between the Lord and his expansions, like Varaha, Nishinga, Narayan, Krishna, Ram, there's no difference. Again from Brahmachari they give this Praman, Deepa, Chideva, Deshaktam, Abhipatya. You take one fire, one candle, you light another candle, and you light from that one candle, you light so many candles. Although they've originated from one candle, the fire is all the same. It's one flame. No difference. The Lord, even though He expands into so many expansions, they are still Vishnu Tattva by one, they are not different. And then Vijati Bel, between the Jiva and Maya, there must be a difference between the Lord and the Jiva and Maya. He said, no. Just like the Lord, and he quotes from Brahmachari. Mahavishnu, when he sweats, The universe is like manifest from his skin pores. But he's in full control of that, because then he pulls those universes back into his skin pores. When we sweat water, the water is separate from our body. It drops. It evaporates. It's a separate existence from us. The Lord is not like that. He's in full control of his Shaktis, the Jivas and Maya. The Jivas in the sense that they're either controlled by his Sarup Shakti or they're controlled by his Maya Shakti, but they're under the influence of the Lord Shiva. Shakti, Mata, the Bear, there's no difference between the Lord and his potencies. Therefore, there is no Swagat Bear, Swajatiya Bear, and Vijatiya Bear in the Adivaya Gyan Paradatta. There's no dual absolute truth. It's all been refuted by other sons. Now time is running short, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue. Description of all of Krishna's qualities, all the different decorations of Radhika, her qualities. Many nice purpose coming now. We'll stop here. We'll continue. Gaur Pramananda Hari Hari Bo Jai Shri Guru Pada Padma Ki Jai Guru Parampara Ki Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Saparshada Gaur Hari Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Prem Bhakti Chandika Ki Jai Narottam Nath Thakur Ki Jai Harinam